Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Vedant Sharma, and I'm thrilled to start this series of discussions on
Yeah.
everything travel related. What we are going to do today is discuss about solo traveling and if it is safe for women. On this episode of Talks about Travel Thingos, I will be talking to Jeannette Ceja. Jeannette is an award winning bilingual travel journalist, a TV host, a travel advisor, and a global public speaker. Jeannette is the Vice President of Travel Unity, where she aims to assist and represent every traveler with a special emphasis on women, minorities, youth, and travelers with disabilities. Welcome to today's episode, Jeannette.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining. Jeanette, before we get started, I was made aware that you have your own venture going by the name of Jet Set with Jeanette. Could you tell us what inspired you to start that venture and what is your goal with that venture?
That's a great question. Jet Set with Jeanette is just an offset, an extension of who I already am and who I've been my entire life. Jet Set with Jeanette it entails my purpose, my professional and personal purpose, which is to unite humanity through travel. And the reason why Jet Set with Jeanette, the width is really important because I want it to be inclusive. I want people to always feel invited and included with whatever I'm doing, whether I'm traveling or speaking about travel. Um, it's my purpose to inspire people to travel and also to learn about the other cultures in this beautiful world. And about 3 years ago, it became official Jet Set with Jeanette. Before then, I was Jeanette Reports because I'm a reporter, I'm a journalist. And that was just boring and too vague. And when I got Jet Set with Jeanette, it really like literally took off. So yeah, it just stuck with me today. It's my company, it's my brand, it's my purpose. It's so much more than just a slogan or just a brand. I mean, I really put my heart and soul into everything that I do, or I just don't do
Amazing, amazing. I hope all of us can get a little inspired by the end of this video,
it.
if not more, actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of what got you into traveling, is there a story behind that, or you just traveled a lot during your initial years and you just developed the love for it?
Yes. So, traveling, I've had my passport since I was about 6 months old.
Oh,
My
wow.
parents are originally from Mexico, and they would take me to Mexico and my siblings as little babies and growing up. And I've always essentially been a traveler in that way. And my love for travel was always, I guess, since I can remember, my fondest memories are being in Mexico City with my grandparents, taking us around town to the local markets, taking us to their other home out in the country by the volcano, and really just immersing myself in my other, my other country, Mexico, my other culture as well, my siblings. And it's really interesting because they only spoke Spanish. So when I would go in Mexico, I only spoke Spanish. When I came back to the US and California, I speak English. So it's really interesting growing up back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I think that's really where my love for travel began.
Wonderful. So I guess I can assume that you know multiple languages.
Yes, I'm fluent in English and Spanish, and currently I am taking French and Italian. Although
Oh,
in college I studied Italian, and I lived in Italy twice before.
wow. So is that why you are learning Italian?
Yes, because I my other dream is to be transcontinental. I would love to have little homes in different countries. To me, I feel like a real global citizen in the sense that why limit yourself just to one place if you can, of course. And then during the pandemic right now, different circumstances, but thinking 5 years in the future already.
Yeah, I would actually like to say that I have a similar kind of dream where I would have like little homes or apartments in multiple countries so that I can visit there without thinking for a second.
Right.
Uh,
Yes. Same.
Speaking of traveling to multiple destinations, what are your opinions on traveling to multiple countries for tourism as compared to just the touristy countries? Like, should people explore more countries?
Of course, I feel that, well, are you talking about right now during this moment or maybe future travel? Because I feel right now during the pandemic, what is happening is we're doing a lot of local and domestic traveling. So, for example, Americans, we are very limited to where we can go. So, we're exploring our country. I feel that's the case with everybody, all over the world. But, thinking of, post
Post
pandemic,
pandemic?
I feel that once everything starts to open up again, the borders, and, there's a vaccine and it's safer to travel in many other ways, I feel that more people will want to travel even more, because right now, what you can do is you can learn about different countries, you can watch shows about different countries. Basically what we can do is fill ourselves with knowledge so that when the time is right we can go out there and experience it. So these are really interesting times, but I think in one way, if you want to look at a positive silver lining, is that you can explore your own country, and you can help your local economy and your local city and states, and you learn more. For example, I have a friend who's visiting me from out of town, and she came with a complete list of places that I have never been. And so it's forcing me to get to know my own city, for example.
Right. I like, for example, I have a friend, he lives in US. He was always fond of traveling to multiple countries, but because of pandemic, that is unfortunately not happening. So what he's doing is he's made his goal to travel to every US state, which is also interesting, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And even as an American in America right now, there are certain states like Hawaii, for example, that require 14-day quarantine. So even as
Still,
Americans,
oh,
us to want to go to certain states in our own country, like Hawaii, maybe
Alaska.
yes, thank you, Alaska, we have to do these strict 14-day quarantines. And Hawaii is, I think they were talking about reopening to us, to the rest of us Americans, in next month, October, mid-October. So these are really interesting times. The national parks are slowly reopening. A lot of people, a lot of Americans are doing road trips. So yeah, it's really interesting times.
It has really transformed how people travel.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
Talking about traveling, do you have any unexpected experiences while you were traveling, solo or in group? Anything which was out of the blue?
Yeah, I mean, I met a prince while I was traveling, having lunch. I
Wow.
won't say what prince he was, because out of just privacy, respect of privacy, I met a prince while having lunch. And what else happened? I met the most fascinating people when I travel. I went to Brazil for the World Cup. I ended up going to two games by myself for 10 days. And yeah, it was just, I have the best experiences when I am traveling, sometimes even better than I could have imagined. When I was in India just 2 years ago, I went to this travel conference, which was amazing, in New Delhi. Then of course I had to go to the Taj Mahal because I had dreamed of the Taj Mahal as a young girl watching on Discovery Channel, National Geographic. And when I went to Agra, which was literally 2 years ago today, to this day, I cried. I had this like out of body experience. It was so emotional because you see it, you hear about it, but when you're physically there, it is just so magical. I mean, India is so magical to me. I love India, and I've only gotten to see a tiny bit of it. So that was amazing. I ended up meeting the former Minister of Tourism for India, who I think at the time his name was KJ Alphonse, and met him at the conference. And then I had no idea, but he went to Agra as well. Ended up having lunch with him and one of the top tour guides in Agra, and learning more about, you know, just so much of your beautiful country, beautiful, amazing country. And also, another side note is in college, I wrote a 40-page report on India for my intercultural communications class. Our professor said, choose a country that you've never been to, and I want you to write a minimum 40-page essay on the country. And the first country that came to my mind, without a doubt, was India. Why? Because to me, it was so mysterious and magical and full of history, and so I thought 40 pages would be more than enough, but I sure that I when I started to research and study and learn more about India, I said, you know, I would probably need to write like hundreds of pages because it's just so rich of history and culture, and just so much. It's impossible with 40 pages to do any kind of report, right? So
Yeah, people
yeah.
call India the cradle of cultures. Yeah, I guess there's a reason for that. Well, but you wouldn't believe when I tell you that Agra is 500 kilometers from where I am currently. This is my home, and I
Wow.
still haven't visited the Taj Mahal.
Oh my gosh. You know, I do believe you in a way though, because when we're in our own countries, our own states, for example, in LA, I would never go to Hollywood Boulevard or Hollywood sign or all these things because I was there. And so we kind of just not take it for granted, but you're just, yeah, you're like, what's the rush, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, it's great. I think you should go. Why not? Is it open?
It opened just recently.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely want to go there. I want to visit all the seven wonders. So that's still part of the bucket list. Let's see.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would take advantage because I feel like now you would be able to go with so much more privacy, less crowds. When I was there, it was so crowded. I mean, even to get inside of the Taj Mahal, you had to put slippers on, but there's so many people that you didn't have time um, to really appreciate it, to really just take it all in because you were like, go, 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 go. I would give anything to go back actually myself again, for sure.
So, do you love traveling solo or as part of a group?
I love both. I think both have I feel like both have great feedback, great ways to have memories. Going alone, it's great because you're more approachable. You're more able to, you set your own schedule, your own itinerary. For example, I'm a morning person, so I love to wake up super early. I do yoga, I get my coffee, I like to go for walks. I'm really independent in that way. Um, so I like to kind of just do my own schedule. That's the beauty of solo traveling, and you're much more approachable. You know, when you're having lunch or dinner by yourself, I feel like more people may be willing to talk to you. As far as a group, it's exciting because you're getting to experience things with others and things like that. but again, you have to consider everybody else's time and schedules. Some people are morning people, some people are night people. So you kind of have to deal,
Yes,
you have to compromise more as opposed to just being on your own.
absolutely. Uh, do you know there was a survey done which said that women actually prefer to travel in groups over traveling solo. Do you think that
What,
might be because of some countries being considered like a little, I would say, unsafe for women, or any other reason? What you think might this be the case for?
I think I can speak for myself as a woman that I feel wherever I go, extra sense of wanting physical security and physical safety. And also, I do a lot of research of the destination that I'm going to be mindful of their culture. For example, if I went to Egypt in March. I researched, how the local women dress in essence, because there's so much differences in culture, and I want to be respectful as well. And so I think that's another factor that women have to consider. But I think as women, a very common fear is physical safety, right, for women, because you know I don't know, it just I mean, I can say I've been followed before. I was followed in New York City, of all places, in broad daylight. I was followed by a man 3 blocks. And the thing is I don't know what his intentions are following me. I don't know if he's on drugs, if he has a knife, if he's trying to hurt me. You just don't know. And unfortunately, you have to assume the worst when you're on your own, because another fear is too, like, if you're out. I mean, I don't go to bars or clubs anymore, and especially not alone. But if you find yourself in a bar or club or something like that as a woman traveler, don't take a drink from strangers, right? Because we've all heard those horror stories of being put things in their drinks. I've also, when I've traveled alone, I've had men ask me, "Oh, are you here alone?" I'm sorry, but does any man ask a man that? No. Does any man, like, have you ever been asked that? I highly doubt it. Um, do women ask if men are alone? Highly doubt it. I'm in my 30s and I've never asked a man if he's alone ever. So there are some really big differences between men and women traveling, especially traveling alone, that we have to take extra precautions and we have to be extra vigilant, right? We have to be street smart. We have to just be vigilant, if anyone's watching us, following us, uh, who we tell where we're staying. I mean, there's certain things that people don't need to know. People don't need to know where you're staying. People don't need to know if you're alone. People don't need to know these things. And this is something that I learned along the way, that it's important for women to know that you don't have to tell anybody, you're alone or where you're staying. And I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest.
Traveling solo as a woman?
Yeah. No, I recommend traveling solo as a woman, but I wouldn't recommend women telling anyone they're alone or
Right.
where they're staying if they don't have to. For example, if a stranger, just asks you, why do you need to say, I don't know?
Right. I mean, mind your own business, right? I'm here to have fun. You have your own fun.
Right. I mean, of course, this is my own personal opinion, but I feel that it's important, just to be cautious and vigilant. But I mean, for the most part, I feel that if a woman's going to take a solo trip, she has the confidence to do it already. She has the self awareness, to do it. So I feel like she's already going to be a strong head on her shoulders. I just feel like it's always good to be extra vigilant and extra cautious. And then if a stranger, while you're traveling, asks if you're alone, I just recommend saying no, but that's me again.
So you think that you should, as we all know, no country is safe. So like stuff like these or strangers like these might interact with you in every country. So like when people say a specific country is dangerous for traveling, do you believe that notion?
Yes and no. I mean, here's the thing. The reality is dangerous people travel and dangerous people are everywhere.
Exactly.
That's the sad reality is that, for example, I was in New York City in my own country in a state in broad daylight and I was followed. It happens everywhere. That's why even wherever you're living in your own city, the same for me, the same recommendations apply. Be vigilant, be cautious. I mean, if I, for example, if I'm jogging in LA at night, I am extra vigilant because I don't know, right? I mean, I'm a woman jogging alone. I need to be vigilant. I need to, because unfortunately there can be somebody who is close by who is wanting to cause harm. So I feel like across the globe, women, everyone, but women should be vigilant no matter where. Because
Yes.
yes, there are countries that I would not travel to right now. Like I wouldn't go to North Korea. I wouldn't go to um, Venezuela. I wouldn't go to certain countries where there's political upheaval, where there is a war,
War.
where there are certain things, or where the height of, a pandemic, for example, where the height of it is happening, I wouldn't go. And I'm pretty sure. But as far as dangerous people, unfortunately, they're everywhere. I mean, it's just humanity. Unfortunately, we have to, that's why we all have to lock our doors, lock our cars. We have to put passwords on our cell phones and our emails because the reality is, unfortunately, it's everywhere.
Sad reality, yeah. These were some amazing advice for women who want to travel solo. What about guys or anyone in general who want to travel solo? Can you suggest some advice how they can get started? Because I'm sure a lot of people
Yeah,
have.
I would say, I mean, obviously, whenever you can, start locally traveling, start traveling within your own city, your own state, your own country. And of course, during different times, like a uh, post-COVID time, travel, when you can and however you can, in the sense that I feel like travel is ultimately one of the best forms of education because it really forces you to learn about different cultures and countries, and it also travel helps break a lot of stereotypes that exist when you're not exposed to it in real time. And every country experiences it, every culture experiences it, but when you can physically go and see and experience and meet the locals yourself, then I feel you have a completely different view and hopefully a better view, because not everything is what it's portrayed in media or movies or TV. And and yeah, I feel like I mean, when I went to India, I was told that a lot of people, like, don't drink this, don't eat that, don't all this fear, 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 fear. And I have to tell you, I just did what I wanted to do, and I didn't get sick. I didn't feel, I mean, I felt jet lag from the time difference, but I didn't feel sick. And same with Mexico. People say, don't drink this, don't do. See what I mean? Every country and every part of the world experiences this. But when you physically go, and when people talk to me, for example, about India, which I was there 2 years ago, I have the most amazing experiences, the most, even like just the small things, meeting the locals, going on the bus to Agra, Jaipur, I got my palm read in Jaipur by an amazing astrologer. Randomly, I walked so many great things. I just feel travel is the gift that keeps giving, and the reason why I think it does unite humanity is because you recognize that no matter where you go in the world, fundamentally we all want the same things. We want to be appreciated, we want to be loved, we want to be heard, we want to be seen, we want to do what we love and get compensated for it, but and we want to be happy. I mean, that's really basics of everyone, no matter where you go in the world. It may look different. I mean, not everybody wants to have a huge house. Some people want to live in the woods. Some people want to live in the ocean. Some people want to live in the country, in the farm. Some people want to live in the major city like New York City or Los Angeles. It's all looks different, but I feel like fundamentally we all want the same things. And at the end of the day, we are the human race. We are human beings, right? So we are more alike than we are different. And I think that is what travel does. It helps you recognize, it reminds you of that. And that's why I think it's the best thing. And that's why I've dedicated my entire life, my heart, my sweat, my tears to this, because I believe that's what's going to help us, especially during these very, very difficult times right now that we are going through on a global level. Like what we are going through, it's crazy because we're going through it together. There's no country that is not experiencing this. And in any silver lining, we can come out of it hopefully stronger, more united together. Because think about it. If we weren't in this right now, where you and I be talking right now on Zoom, maybe not. Maybe we'd be so busy in our pre-COVID world where we were always go, 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 do, be, move it, where we never had to just stop and just be and just literally the world has just paused for many of us, and it's allowing us these opportunities to connect with others in the world and to yeah, to emerge stronger. So in that way I feel like it's a good thing. I mean there's a lot of bad things about this pandemic, but I
Silver
feel like
lining.
we can always find the silver lining. Yes.
Isn't it strange? At this point, everyone is quarantined. Most of the people cannot travel, but I am pretty sure that as soon as a vaccine is out or it's safe to travel, majority of the people are going to travel, and it's just going to explode. Don't you agree?
I
I mean,
agree.
yeah, I mean, everyone is stuck at home. They just want to go out. Even for those who don't travel that often, they will be traveling to numerous places. I'm pretty sure it will become something huge.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. It is yeah, I mean, we also appreciate more than ever when we're at home the world because we want to go see it, right? And even for me, I realize there's so many places that I haven't been yet that I would love to go. So yeah, I'm the same way. I feel the same as everybody else. And what is the situation like in India right now?
We are still hitting, we are still, the numbers are still increasing. This
Mhm.
first spike is still underway. This situation doesn't look that good, but the number of people who are being healed are also increasing with the number of
Mhm.
people who are getting infected. So I feel in the end, it's kind of a balance.
Right,
Not so good, but not so bad.
right.
And how is the situation over there? I heard it's getting better.
Yes, I feel the US for the most part is getting better, starting with the metropolitan cities like New York City, Los Angeles. We have been able to lower the curve, and in that way, I feel the numbers are getting better. However, the USA is made up of 50 states, And I think every governor right now is doing the
Right.
best they can, but they're doing their own for what's best for their state. And everybody is doing it on different timelines and different, uh, you know, different laws, different rules. So I think it's a really a good time for our country to be the United States, to unite right now. It's a time where we can come together. But again, there's another, we're having a presidential election in 2 months, and we are dealing with a year. I mean, it's of a lot of social injustice, racism that has really been brought to the surface, and a lot of Americans are going through very difficult times right now, not just from the pandemic, but from social injustice, the political upheaval. We have the natural disasters, we have earthquakes, hurricanes, wildfires in California. I mean, it has been one year that has been just
Taxing.
nonstop. It's been nonstop, and I have a lot of compassion for everybody. But being here and being American, I have a lot of compassion for Americans, because I will say it's been a pretty tough year for everybody, for most everybody. I mean, we are just, going through it right now. But again, hopefully this is a time where we can come together, we can find solutions, we can focus on that, and use all of our great talent, all of our resources to come stronger out of 2020. And I guess take it. Yeah, I'm taking it day by day. I feel like that's really what a lot of people are doing. So yeah.
That was some great advice. Thank you so much, Jeanette, for joining us today. It was a
You're
pleasure hosting you.
Thank you. You're most welcome.